Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Mitchell Morrison, zooming in from Newport Beach. Mr. Morrison is the founder and creator of Eyeballs Financial LLC, aka FinTalk. FinTalkCap.com, the application, as well as eyeballsfinancial.com. He is also the CEO of GetVotes app, author of 4 books which reflect his education and career. During the Cold War years, Mitchell was employed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, stationed in Washington, D.C. and New York City. He worked in the area of foreign counterintelligence and counterespionage. He specializes in philanthropy, financial education, and forensic investment due diligence. Mr. Morrison is a nationally known speaker and registered fiduciary. He has held senior positions with E.F. Hutton, Travelers Portfolio Group, Smith Barney, Charitable Alliance Foundation, Financial West Group, Skyway Capital Markets, and 4-Star Wealth Advisors. He is acting executive director and founder of the Financial Literacy Project. He also formed and operated World Trade Center, Miracles Foundation, and America's Ride, appearing on Good Morning America, ABC, CNN, NBC, and CBS. He has organized national fundraising efforts for both 9/11 World Trade Center relief and Hurricane Katrina disaster relief. He is a graduate of the University of Southern California School of Journalism and George Washington University Masters in Forensic Science. Mitchell, welcome.
Thank you so much, Danny. Great to be here.
Quite elaborate bio you have there.
A long one, huh?
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about being an FBI agent.
Well, I went through Quantico and then got trained, met some very interesting people along the way, and got a detail called Foreign Counterintelligence, FCI. And they stationed me around the embassies. So we basically followed around spies, GRU, KGB, Cubans, East Germans. Back then, the Communist Party controlled over 14 different territories, including Poland, Czechoslovakia, so on and so forth. So our job was to recruit the spies, not to put them in jail. And some of the, I guess you'd call them the bigger spies, were up in New York because they were working out of the United Nations. And so they had a double job, basically. And we went up there, and I got detailed in Manhattan and had a lot of encounters, found a lot of secrets that were pretty astounding at the time of what the Soviet Union was doing, more so than the Chinese. Chinese didn't do as much spying back then as they did today. And then left the Bureau, went into the financial services arena, and I figured, well, now that everybody's moving to artificial intelligence, I used to work foreign counterintelligence, maybe I'll put my toe in the water and start dabbling in artificial intelligence. So we have built these apps, the financial app and the GetVotes app, which are powered by artificial intelligence.
And so tell us a little bit about what these apps do and how they're applied and who uses them.
So on the FinTalk app, it is the most transparent, simplest device for anyone to just pick up their phone, log into their account, and ask questions about their financial statements. All the information will be on there. What's the balance in my individual retirement account? How are my tech stocks doing? Do I have a dividend this month? Do I have any unrealized losses? When is my tax forms coming out? When's my K-1? So that particular app answers up to 964 questions. Most people have maybe 20 or 30 they would ask it on a regular basis. You talk to it and it talks back to you. So, and it shows you your statements at the same time. So it's the best way to keep in touch without even having to have a conversation with your financial advisor. The nice thing about it, though, is it collects all these questions. So if you ask it, should I buy Tesla stock? It will not allow you to do any trades, but that information will go to the financial advisor. He knows you're interested in Tesla stock. He sees it. He can call you back and do a trade. Same thing with all the other questions. It's just that it doesn't answer any opinion or buying questions because that's a transaction and that would be prohibited by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So the FinTalk app is very exciting. It's, if you want to take a look, the website is www.fintalkapp, so fintalkapp.com. So the other, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that sounds like amazing. It's like a one-stop shop. I imagine you connect all your bank accounts, your brokerage accounts to it so it can have access to the information.
Yes, you just have to have it set up at the financial institution, and we can tell you which ones you can check in with to get it. Right. So it's really very convenient, especially for the underserved, because, a lot of people don't get called back by their financial advisor right away. Right. Here you have all the information right there. You're not playing phone tag, and it saves the financial advisor time because a lot of those questions would be answered by the phone. Right.
And how about the other apps?
Well, the GetVotes app, that was kind of an interesting story. I was introduced to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I went to his house. I talked to him about some confidential information on the assassinations of both his father and his uncle. And we spent 2 hours together. We had a good time. We're friends now. He lives in California, by the way. And at the end of the conversation, I said, hey, I know you're running for president. We could build an app for you. So we did. It's called Kennedy Activate. And it's about getting votes, but it's also about pushing out all the information on all his policies because everybody misjudged him on what he believed in. And so in his own voice, he would speak to you and tell you all his positions, what's going on, what events are coming up, how you can volunteer. So if you're running for office, I tell everybody who's running for office, anybody can run, but not everybody can win. They need the GetVotes app. And the GetVotes app, we build it. Normally, we can build it in 2 weeks. And it'll have every single bit of information. And remember, it collects information. So most apps just push out information. We collect the data and find out what they're interested in. What do they think about immigration? What do they think about the economy? What do they think about cutting government spending and or increasing programs? You're going to find out everything because the surveys are there. And 2 other amazing features. Here in California, you can capture your vote. You can actually take a picture of your ballot in the phone booth, in the booth. We have an attestation page that proves that you voted for that person, and you can sign it right on the phone. So not only do you have a copy of your ballot, you have an attestation. That holds up if there's a contested election. And there were tight elections here in Orange County, and none of those candidates, except for one woman we had running for school board, used the app. Now, we were busy building it for some other candidates in Texas, one fella in Vermont. So we couldn't get to everybody, but right now I encourage people to go to the GetVotesApp.com, GetVotesApp.com, and there's a demo on there, and they can see how it works. And we custom make it. It has their logo, their colors, their story, and it's very reasonable. We can build the whole app for under $10,000. So it's a big game changer.
Wow, that's amazing that you're able to do that, and that candidates are able to use it.
We speak 100 different languages. Mm-hmm. They can push out to Japanese, Chinese, Spanish in their language. No other apps were doing that on the GetVotes, and we also have that on FinTalk too. So FinTalk is multilingual, very AI. Again, I'm repeating myself, but the value is really to the either the financial advisor and or the candidate, because you're getting all this information back, and you're getting it instantaneously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we want to be able to have as much information as easily as possible at our fingertips. It helps everybody from going from the different websites to the bank account to the brokerage account. It's just like, why? You can just go on there and get all your information instantly.
Yeah, everybody would prefer to use their phone rather than a laptop now. Mm-hmm. So you got your phone on you, and you just, it's all there.
Right. So tell us a little bit about Eyeballs Financial.
So Eyeballs was our parent company, and we named it because we wanted investors to keep their eye on the ball. In other words, know where you're at with your financial statement. Don't be confused. Don't be in the dark. So we named the company Eyeballs Financial, and we formed the company in 2018, around the end of 2018. And we got a patent in 2021 on our RIQs. So the RIQs are the remote inquiry questions that are asked by the customers that go back to either the home office or the individual financial advisor. And so the RIQs are patented. We're the only ones who can do that. Mm-hmm. So we're pretty excited about having that patent. We think it makes our company worth a lot more money, and it's not a provisional patent. It's gone all the way through the cycle. So it's a 20-year patent.
Nice. Well, it looks like your main focus is around finance, right? Finance and data information.
Well, you know what they say, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. Why do we work with finance? That's where the money is.
That is true.
The finance companies are paying tremendous amounts of money and chasing the same rabbit. And what has happened with three things in finance, there's one called the fiduciary rule, which says you have to put your client's needs above your own as an advisor. There's regulation BI, which is best interests, best interest by the SEC. Again, kind of an extended of the fiduciary rule. But then there's off-channel communications. So what happened was people were texting their financial advisor and saying, buy me this, or should I buy this? Well, the SEC put the clamp on that and said that had to be encrypted. That had to be protected, because if someone could get in to that phone, that would breach the privacy part
Right.
of the
Right.
banking and investment banking and so on and so forth. We built that system specifically for that. So all of our communications are already encrypted, and nobody needs to spend money on those other programs out there. So we're trying to push that with the financial firms because the fines are unbelievable. I know it was last year 800 million in fines to the biggest firms.
Wow.
JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, UBS, Raymond James. Edie Jones got like an $80 million fine. It was crazy. And what happens with us is we just tell the user, just use the app. Everything will go, and it's not off-channel communications. He'll see it or she'll see it, and they'll be able to respond instantaneously. You can also book appointments on the app. You can see their calendar, their schedule, everything. And now we've moved to the second phase, which you can fill out applications for investments. Certain investments require applications other than a new account form. So now you can just fill it out on the phone, and it'll ask you, where do you live? What's your net worth? Those kind of things that may be required under suitability.
Right. No, that's amazing, because now you're creating the safety that's required, and you're making it easier for the industry. So this, I don't know how long you've been working on it, but this could potentially be a big hit for you, Mitchell.
We have been working on it and improving it along the way. We didn't want to roll out a program that wasn't complete. And then when AI really started hitting its stride, we redid everything so AI could take over. And our programmer, Dennis, out of Florida, was started in AI, on the AI projects over 13 years ago. So
wow, no, that's amazing. Now you've gone from the bureau to finance. So you had probably more than one career, we can say. What has been your biggest challenge in either of the two that you've had to overcome, and how did you do that?
Well, the bureau was a team effort, and so as long as everyone didn't become what's called a DIP, that's a defector in place.
Right.
Movies call it a double agent, and so we had a couple, never in my detail or in my unit, but we've had people in the FBI who turned, and of course, the biggest DIP ever was Aldrich James, who ran the whole Soviet desk for the CIA, who was giving all the identities of all the IOs, intelligence officers, out to the communist KGB. But, other than some of the shocking things we found, like atomic bombs in suitcases, you can believe that, in New York. Yeah, in New York. That could do a 10 kiloton blast, which is about a half-mile blast radius, would wipe everything.
And you found people carrying these in suitcases?
We found them positioned in apartments.
Oh, interesting.
We had guys turn, they defect.
Yeah.
See, we recruit them, but we want them to stay in their agency. We don't want them to go to witness protection. Because if they keep working with us, then we give them small secrets. So we help them look good. Maybe they get promoted to be a KGB colonel, and they get more info. It's more of a game than the movies, because in the movies, everybody has guns and everybody's shooting. That's not the way it is. We're going into bars and trying to talk to them. I was invited to Russian Christmas parties, and they come out and I'm in my car at 4 a.m. And, back then, there were no cell phones. We had to use radios.
Yeah.
Well, they could pick up the radio signals So they knew where we were. Now we were encrypted, so they couldn't listen in.
Right.
But they knew exactly where we were in our cars and with our radios.
Wow.
But I could go on and on, I mean, about all that. That's interesting. Yeah. I think my biggest challenge is understanding more of the tech world, as opposed to financial, because I got all the licenses and did just about everything you could do in the financial world, including running a securities firm and becoming the president of a couple real estate investment trusts, that kind of thing. But I think the tech world is, for me, more of a challenge. And even though I can tell you if a document is forged, I can tell you the angle of the shot. That was kind of my conversation because of my master's in forensic science. I did my final paper dissertation on the Kennedy assassination for my master's. And he and I agreed where he got shot from, and it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey got off 3 shots but didn't make the kill shot. I will tell you one thing for your viewers. I think, and I told Bobby this, I told Robert F. this.
Yeah.
These files they're talking about, MLK, JFK, RFK, gone. You're not going to learn anything new. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because when Hoover died, Helen Gandy, his secretary for 52 years, took all those secret files out. They were on microfiche. And I know that for a fact because even though I came after Hoover, Tom, who worked in his office, was a friend of mine on the Bureau flag football team. He told me that she took them out and buried them. And that's pretty much common knowledge now. But this stuff about Trump being able to get them and give you a big revelation about any of the 3, you're not going to get the whole story. So just thought I'd tell you that for your viewers.
Thank you for sharing, Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'm sure that answers a lot of questions for a lot of people. Well, looks like you're doing really well. You've done really well transitioning from the Bureau to the financial side of business. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And so as we speak to different business owners, one of the things that sometimes business owners want to do is to create a diversification of income streams by potentially investing or doing passive investments in other types of assets other than your regular main business. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, we wanted to pay political consultants for bringing us candidates. So that's a way we could compensate them on the upfront build and then also on the usage, because we have to charge. But see, the candidates don't mind, because the more people that log on, they don't mind paying $1 a month or whatever for people's opinions and what they're doing. So we have that all set up. In the financial services world, we can pay royalties to people who just say, okay, well, I want to introduce this financial firm to you. And those introductions don't require any outlay of their capital, just, revenue that we can share with them.
Right.
It's not commission or anything like that. It's just sharing the revenue off the royalties. And we're looking for those kind of partners and people. And then always, we have a patent, we have some equity. I mean, if someone wanted to come in and make us an offer on buying part of the company, we can always talk to them about that as well.
Right. No, that's great. That's great. There's opportunity for outside investors to potentially participate on the upside of that.
Right.
That is awesome. Now, as we wrap up our interview, what does 2025 look like for you? What exciting plans do you have?
Well, we're busy because we've really got the FinTalk going, and then now we've got to gear up for these candidates. So we're trying to get a little bit more revenue in the door so we can hire a bigger staff. Sales hasn't been much of a problem, but we can always talk to some salespeople, again, bringing us revenue. We're just hoping to be able to build a base of about, maybe 3 million users this year, which would give us about $2 per user. So that'd be 6 million in revenue, for this year.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing for you. Hopefully you hit that. And if you keep going, and I'm sure you will, it's still the beginning of the year. We're still in Q1.
Right.
So Mitchell, and thank you so much for your tip and your stories that you provided us. Now, if somebody who's listening and wanted to get a hold of you, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, I take phone calls all the time, so I'm just going to give out my number. It's 949-254-2487. And email is mitch@eyeballsfinancial.com.
Very good. Is there another point of contact?
My personal, I'll give that. What the heck? Mitchell, Mitchell, Morrison, Morrison, or 22, Mitchell Morrison 22 at gmail.com. And I'm on LinkedIn, not so much Facebook. I think I have about 4,000 connections there now. So,
all right.
LinkedIn, my profile is just Mitch Morrison.
All right. Very good. Well, Mitchell, thanks so much for joining us. And for our listeners, yes. And for our listeners, please go to ocpowerplayers.com. Follow us on your favorite channel, and don't forget to like us. Thanks so much, Mitchell.
Goodbye, Danny. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.